Okay, welcome back, SportStream. Today's spotlight is on Panasonic, but it's on the Panasonic KAIROS. And I'm really excited about this because KAIROS is a product which can be used at sports at all level. And by all level, I mean KAIROS switches are being used by high school athletics and local athletic clubs, all the way up to things like professional sports, the Olympics, and some of the biggest sporting events you've ever watched in your life. So we have Peyton from KAIROS on the show. Welcome aboard. Peyton, tell us what you do over at Panasonic and introduce yourself as well.
Yeah, I'm Peyton. I'm the KAIROS product manager, and we kind of help develop the KAIROS product all the way down to like our entry-level product, all the way up to high professional sports broadcasting products from GPU-based, basically the KAIROS platform.
Cool. Now, I think it's important to give a little overview of the gut, the foundation of KAIROS. And that is, mixers have been around forever. We're in a world that we had baseband mixers, which were SDI and HDMI. We had IP, where IP really for us is NDI, and then we have an emerging, broadcast level IP that's, the ST2110. But Panasonic was really as a software-defined, GPU-driven solution. So basically, KAIROS is a box loaded with a ton of GPU power that can harness both IP and SDI, and you can start small and grow, or you can be huge. So talk about that a little bit and why that flexibility is so important.
Yeah, so with KAIROS, it loves 2110. So KAIROS is the 2110 SMPTE 2110 is the KAIROS backbone of the system, but it still does SDI transport as well. So it's perfect for that hybrid approach. We actually have a entry-level model, the KC200 L1, which is only SDI. But the best part about it is it can actually be upgraded over time to 2110. So we understand that 2110 is not for everyone, but 2110 is the backbone of the future for networked uncompressed video over a network.
We love it. We're getting to the KAIROS boxes, but we wanted to kind of flip the script a little bit because with sports, it's really important to be able to switch the show quickly and accurately. And what we really like is you've got a whole bunch of options on the switching where you can get two different panels, which, even your small panel is a very big panel. We have one set up in our demo facility. The big panel is something you need a lot of room for, but you also work for people like Scarhoy and Stream Deck. And then there's also the actual software interfaces. So that level of flexibility with it, you can use a touchscreen, you can use panels, you can use third-party panels. I got to commend you guys because I know someone somewhere was saying, no, it should only be our panels. It should only be our panels. But some voice one who said, no, let the user pick the interface that's best for them and their production. So kudos on that.
Yeah, it's extremely flexible. And the best part is you can connect up to all of these all at once, or just use a single panel, like you said, even just down to a REST API. If I'm at a different station and I just need to make a quick change, I can, log into the core remotely and be able to make a change.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up those remote, the remote production and Remy, because with our system, we actually have our workflow guru, Glenn's got a small panel. We got a large one here, and he can actually operate our KAIROS from Texas anytime he wants. He just logs in and boom, he's up and going, and he can give demos. Because one of the things I want to stress on this whole show is if you as a video sports producer, be it a high school, a college, a pro team, a division, a league, amateur or a minor league, developmental league, whatever you are. If you want to see KAIROS in action, we can actually give you a live demo with our solution, as well as Panasonic has the ability to do that, as well as if it's a big enough opportunity, we'll put boots on the ground, we'll send someone in to talk to you. We get that these KAIROS solutions can be something as inexpensive as, say, $50K or up to $250,000, $500,000. I'm not trying to scare people here. I'm trying to really focus on the scalability of this system. So let's get into some of the boxes themselves. So we've got the first box, which is the original one, and go into that a little bit.
Yeah, so the original generation was 1 RU rack and a 2 RU rack. Now we have this 4 RU rack that you can see in front of you, which actually all of the new generation is in this 4 RU rack.
Cool.
So that can be deployed remotely or on-prem. And kind of like what we were saying with the control panel, you can control that core remotely and be able to stream back your multi-viewers. There's built-in encoding and decoding inside of the cores. Using your creator software, you can pull back some multi-views to be able to cut your show remotely without the core even being anywhere near you. And that's actually how we do a lot of our remote demos, just like what you were talking about. Our main cores are in Hoffman Estates in Chicago, and then we just carry either a stream deck around with us or a little panel, and we can give a live demo and stream back all of our multi-views, and you can see the cameras live in the studio. And that's how we execute a lot of shows.
Yeah, now one of the things I want to stress is the sheer flexibility of this product is just insane. I like to say, you can produce video in the venue or out of the venue, which means I can be driving the video that's going out to an OTT production or to YouTube or for people on their phones to be on TikTok or whatever formats they need. And I can also power everything that's inside the venue for the screens that are inside the venue. So, put video anywhere inside or outside the venue, or also I like to say anywhere, any shape, any size, any format, anywhere with KAIROS. That's two big things I just threw at you. Let's bring up this mix and match screen. You can just talk about that.
Yeah, so because KAIROS is GPU based, in a Linux-based server, you're able to actually mix and match different frame rates at any given time. So it doesn't have to be your standard 1080p 5994, and all those signals need to be that. It can bring in 29.7, it can bring in 59, it can bring in 12G signals all at once, and then be able to add frame syncs to all of those, and be able to also mix and match on the output side. So even like you were talking about with, say you have a sports broadcasting show that you're mixing in venue, LED wall or stream at the same time, can be going to Instagram in a 9:16 format instead of a 16:9, and you can set all that up internally inside of KAIROS.
And the other thing is I want to say that because it's software and GPU based, it's really future-proof. If I buy a KAIROS today and some format takes off for some new format of social media, or maybe someone starts selling TVs that are vertical that we start watching in our house. I'm not suggesting we want them. I'm just saying if it were to happen, you'd be able to produce video for that content and just add that as a software download down the road that would add that capability. Now, it might cost you money, it might be free, but my point is that KAIROS can grow and expand. Just like on this sheet, it shows Dante compatible now, where 6 months ago, Dante wasn't on the list. So it's just amazing how it just keeps growing and going. And I got to compliment the people who had the guts to make a completely open architecture that was GPU driven, because, GPUs are what drove the ability to do the crypto business for a while. And this is going to be like an NVIDIA speech, but it's not. And then it's driving AI. And really what we found is the way GPUs process information, especially video information with the CUDA technology, they're just better. And it just allows the system to be doing that many more things simultaneously than you'd be stuck with if you had traditional hardware or were CPU dependent.
Yeah, absolutely.
So one of the things that makes a professional broadcast like a sports thing is you get cameras. And we all know the more, every director and every producer of sports will say, the more cameras, the better. If I have 6 cameras, I need 8. If I have 2, I need 4. If I have 12, I need 20. And if I'm doing the NFL or the Olympics, I need 50 in a stadium. Yeah. Well, someone's got to be able to see all those cameras, figure out which one's got the right shot and where it goes. And I love the way you have the multi-viewer set up there, because on the fly, I can change my multi-view so I can see what's big, what's little, what's small, what am I looking at. And I think in the past, people have spent $15,000, $20,000 just on a multi-viewer alone to do that part of the KAIROS function that's integrated and better than all those standalone multi-viewers.
Yes. Yeah. All the multi-views are free. You're not having to pay extra for that. You can scale the multi-views, all the different pips, up to 36 pips per multi-view. And you'll notice even in the bottom left down, or I guess the right multi-view that says wide program, because KAIROS can do that GPU flexible aspect ratio, it's able to even show that in your multi-view. So no need to stitch your MEs together to be able to create a widescreen. It's one scene, as what we call scenes is basically an ME. It's one ME that can present that to the end user, and you're actually using it in real time in that specific raster. So the multi-views are extremely flexible. They have, user buttons to be able to recall from even, macros on the fly to even change them up. Audio is built in, all kinds of different features, vector scopes, waveform monitors, kind of whatever you need.
And what I think is incredible, and let's talk about this layer-based system with the virtual unlimited MEs, because it's not just unlimited MEs. I can put those MEs anywhere I want on the screen, like you said, with scenes. So I could be producing from the same ME, same system, vertical video for those vertical displays that may be in the stadium. Maybe I have those long, thin displays, along the balcony. I might have a scoreboard that's got a big square on it, but then on each side I show some advertising or coming events or stats from other out-of-town ball games. And it's also got the ability, if I wanted to drive different content, to put it, let's say, in the suites that was shown in there. Or if I was just a simple, let's say I'm a D3 college, I could have a set of video that's being used for in-venue, which might not be that much, but I might be streaming to vertical for the kids who like the phone. I could be going to YouTube or anything that's what we now stream. I could be doing it on OTT so that people can watch it on a big screen TV. I can also be doing it where my scouts can be watching the game and they can be feeding a certain, hey, just keep this camera isolated on this kid. I want to watch him the whole game. It's amazing what can be done. And what I just said sounds so complicated, but it's not with KAIROS.
No, it's not complicated. It's kind of gone are the days of having to think through almost my show when it comes to my ME resources. I don't have to think through how many keyers I have at any given moment for this one ME. You just honestly copy and paste, or just right mouse click, add new layer, and you have another key, or I have another scene or another ME for that screen, for that display, for that 9:16 Instagram feed that I'm trying to feed. And then at the same time, people could be using just a Stream Deck to control one of those screens versus someone using a large operating switcher for maybe an IMAX show all at the same time, and there's no stepping on each other. And that is really the power and the flexibility that KAIROS brings to the table.
Yeah, we love it. We've got some slides that go into this canvas because I think it's so important. So the first one we kind of discussed, I don't need an extra set of hardware to do my multi-screen, multi-views. But then again, I also have all these megapixels that I can show any shape video I want, 8K, 4K, 2K, HD, and I can scale, or I can pull a section of a video into the canvas, whichever I want to do. And that's pretty dramatic for where this product exists. A lot of times to do this, you would need racks of different switchers, one doing this part, one doing that part, and KAIROS does it all. So talk about that a little bit, how you can not only mix and match the formats, actually pull any lower format out of a bigger format image. Did I say that right?
Yeah. It's really, up-down cross conversion is all happening, all internal inside of the box. We've really pulled, two different systems under like one hood of a system. So people, they have access to all of those different resources, which gives them the ability to, one operator can control multiple things at once. And, we're seeing that a lot is, people are asked to do more with less staff, and it needs to be simple enough that one person could potentially operate a whole show and operate screen content all at the same time. So keeping everything under one hood kind of allows people to be able to control all those different elements and all those different environments of their show simply and easily through the KAIROS platform.
Now, I want to set some expectations. KAIROS is a broadcast level product that can be brought down to smaller venues, smaller schools, especially people who want to start and scale. But there's two parts of using something. The first part is getting it set up and going. And if you're a venue looking to get this, number one, we're not going to ship it to you directly. You got to talk to one of our local dealers who's going to help you put the whole system together. But also, it comes with a level of commissioning that Panasonic Services does to get the whole thing set up. So that's the complicated part of it. But the easy part of it is in doing that setup, they can set up a show that can be done by student volunteers or a more experienced person, depending on what their abilities are, because you can customize the interface, the shortcuts, the keyboard on what you're doing. Like you said, I can mix a show that's as easy to do with a Stream Deck, or I can have a show that needs multiple panels for people to run, because I'm really getting into some high-end complex stuff. But learning and using KAIROS is really pretty straightforward and simple. And what I really love about it is it mixes the tactile and the touch world. So to me, that means if I'm an older school guy who's been operating stuff at a venue, I can still use it. I'm not afraid of it, right? But if I'm a
Right.
younger operator who's learned about, grew up with an iPad and likes touch and stuff like that, I can use that. But I really think what happens is we realize that the best combination is I have that iPad kind of touch ability to physically interact with the environment I'm creating on the KAIROS, but then I have a traditional control panel to make everything efficient, let muscle memory take over. Because when you're mixing a sporting event, it happens fast, baby. You got to really be on your toes. And it's not something where you can be drilling into touch necessarily every time. You really do need to have that show like configured, taking full advantage. When people see a panel that's got, 6 rows of, 30 buttons or whatever, they get a little panicky. And I'm like, when you're doing sports, that's really important because you need front level access to whatever. If it's a ball game and you've got a camera that's on the center fielder, you want to be able to pull that camera up when that ball's still in the air. If they're turning the double play, you want to cut from, second base to first base, boom, boom. You got to know where those shots live. And that's muscle memory and that's experience. And that's a broadcast product, of which KAIROS is, but it doesn't, I'm not trying to scare people away. I'm trying to explain to people how this product can be used at the simpler levels and scale up to the higher levels, especially for sports. And I think I need you to make it less confusing than I just said, because I think I just confused people. So take it away and boil it down a little better than I just did.
Panasonic and even Broadfield is going to be there to help, walk you through the process. Panasonic, we send somebody on site, we'll walk you through the whole process of how to set up the panel. And once you've kind of realized, honestly, the software element of programming your show is the easiest part. And then it's just really like, how do I want my panel to be laid out? So if you have a specific way that you like your panel to look in a traditional switcher format, no problem. We can set it up that way. But you might have some creative ideas of how to, make that different or make it, I've never had that kind of flexibility before. So the panel really does add, a lot of speed and efficiency. And there's feature sets in the panel that kind of simplify the workflow even. A lot of people, not only from a panel standpoint, but even from a protocol standpoint, a lot of people might be scared of SMPTE 2110. They don't really know. Yeah. Even anything IP based, they might be a little weary of. So, we have our own SDI boards that you can put into the system, which is, it makes things super simple and an easy approach to get into it. And then the system's upgradable. So, at any given point, you want to start doing 2110 or NDI or SRT, you can, especially with the sports world. We have a lot of people that are using our cameras that have built-in SRT, and they're sending their people out with their cameras, streaming SRT feeds directly back to the KAIROS core, and you have all your camera feeds, being encoded into the KAIROS platform, and then I can send it right back out to whatever CDN or platform I'm using.
Now, KAIROS really is a platform more than just a product. So we have some products that we sell that go along with the KAIROS. I just want to talk about it a little bit so people can understand. And that is, one of the beautiful parts of KAIROS is its baseband and its IP. So we've got our partners, Matrox, who does their Convert IP product, which can turn any baseband signal into any form of IP, including 2110. Imagine sells these big server banks that can take 16, 24, different baseband signals and IP, and it can be in or out configured as you need. And then, we talked about screens in the venue, and we've got apps and video walls now available. So if you want to do a venue, whether it's a small little venue that's just looking for, a little scoreboard to put outside or maybe inboard in your basketball arena, or a whole thing where you want to deck out a whole big stadium with, hundreds of square feet of video wall stuff, we have access to that for you. And once again, these are products that you're just not going to order it and it's going to ship. There's going to be a consultation process. It's going to be designed into your whole KAIROS workflow on what you need for this other stuff. But I wanted to bring this up because you don't have to go all IP or all SDI. KAIROS can grow and scale as you need. You brought up an amazing point. I can emulate whatever kind of control surface my operators are used to. So if they really love, they've been on a Ross or something else, we can emulate the way that was. By the same regards, as they get to know and love KAIROS, we know they're going to start wanting to take advantage of some of the stuff that KAIROS delivers that these other systems didn't. And their control surface will start changing as their own way of producing shows evolves. But that's the real beauty of a software-based system like this. Not only can it grow and scale by me adding to it with stuff, but it can grow and scale so my people are more comfortable with what I'm doing, and it can grow with you and stay manageable for the people producing and directing the show. Your show may start where you have a production team of maybe 5 or 6 people, and it's 2 cameramen and everything else is a PTZ camera. And who knows, maybe the program's successful, you're winning some games, you're going to be in the division title game, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, we're renting, we're going to have 20 cameras for the big game, we got it at home, all of a sudden the local TV station wants to pick it up and things like, holy moly. Well, we can scale the system like that, right? I mean, it's purchasing stuff and scaling, but I'm saying it's not like I got to throw anything out. It's not like I got to climb in walls and rewire everything because it's IP. It's so easy to scale. And I think you're revolutionizing video mixing and switching, but I think when it comes to sports, that I can have the video be in venue or out of venue. I can have it any size, any shape, anywhere, and I support any kind of video signal, IP or a baseband. It's really taking things to another level. And I want to compliment you as one of the product guys on the job you've done. You've done a pretty good job on this show too. So it's SportStream. Today we went into one of the higher end, solutions we offer, but that's the cool thing about sports. It can be as simple as you're a guy with 2 cameras and you're mixing it through like a YOLO box, or you could be a school that got a grant or has a budget for it. You want to put in a whole new system, or maybe you're having a stadium redone like Northwestern, and you want to put this in. I'm not saying KAIROS is in there. I'm just giving an example of a stadium that's being redone. And it's just cool what can happen here. So anytime we have a guest on the show, I always like to end it by giving the guest the last word to talk about the show, the product, whatever you want. So floor is yours, buddy. Take it away.
Yeah, KAIROS is a really powerful platform, and one of the big things is that we're always listening for customer feedback. So always wanting to develop the product and hear out our end users and make sure that we're developing the product that they want to use. So the nice part about KAIROS is you buy it today, it might not look like that in 3 months or 6 months because it's software. Your switcher isn't baked in, so new features are constantly being released, new updates are constantly being released. So we like listening to the customer feedback. So we're really here for you and trying to develop a product that really fits the need of the end user.
Awesome job, buddy. Thank you for being on the show. Peyton, you were a great guest. I was going to ask you if there's any new features coming that you can tell me about, but I know you can't because really right now we have the IBC show going on with Europe, which was kind of a crazy thing on how we were getting people to be on the show. So thank you for giving us that time and just cool stuff going on. So this is Gary for SportStream. Thank you for tuning in to our 3 days of dedicated sports programming. We'll see you on the internet on the Videoguys show next Tuesday. Peace.
Thanks, Gary.